If there's if no one's going to be responsible for it, if Anita's,
and I know you probably feel like we're grilling you, but
no, that's fine.
Well, you get a lot of good ideas as we talk about it too. But let's go back to the mall itself, because I mean, I've said many times, what could a woman want beside Bon-Ton, Boscov's, Home Depot? You got the world by the tail here. So I mean, if you support the what was been projected or proposed as making residential and changing the whole look at the Fredericktown Mall, do you think that the Fredericktown Mall has outlived its usefulness in its current location? Malls usually go through a change every 10 years.
Yeah, and we've been there since, the mall's been, 72 they built it, so we're looking at 30-plus years. Yeah, I saw some of the plans. I've met Tom across the street, the manager of the place. I've known him for years. I would say, I used to be in the mall behind there. If that's what it takes, if their idea is to make something else out of it, the original plan one time they were talking about knocking it down except for the anchors, Bon-Ton, Boscov's, and they were going to build kind of a horseshoe outdoor shopping center, 2 levels, parking deck, and at one point they were talking 400 and some condos. Of course, I have a store across the street. I was loving that idea. Why wouldn't I? And then it kind of slimmed down to 200 and some. If it's something they think is viable and will help the community and clean it up, they were talking high-end housing, $250,000 a condo. That'd be amazing. What kind of money is that going to generate? What kind of employment is that going to generate?
250 and very much for a condo.
Yeah, well, these days.
Right. Let's take a quick break. Chris Simpson, running for mayor on the Democratic side, 301- 694-9363, 301-694 WFMD is the Democratic side. Let's go to the phone lines and talk to, I believe it's the Baron. Baron, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Blaine?
Doing good.
I got a question for Mr. Simpson.
Go ahead.
All right, Mr. Simpson, I'd like to know, I remember a year or two maybe ago they were talking about doing some rehab of the landlord-tenant laws and what have you in the city. And one of the things that I called and suggested was a lot of landlords in the area, they do a credit check on their tenants. That's legit. That's a proper business practice, and I respect that. My only thing is that if you do that credit check on your tenant, you should be required from then on out, if you bring them in as a tenant, to report to that credit bureau. How do you feel about that?
You mean as far as if you paid or didn't pay, so it helps your credit?
Yeah, so it helps the tenants, because that way you can move people from renting to buying, and that would improve their credit. Yeah, I don't think it's fair that they check your credit and then they don't report on the end, on the backside of it.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It'd be like taking a loan. As long as you pay the loan, your credit score goes up. I think that'd be fine. I can't see why they wouldn't do something like that.
Right. Well, that's not the law as it is now. Right now, all they got to do is check it. If you got good credit, you can rent. If you don't have good credit, you move on to the next place.
Is that city or county or state law? Do you know the Baron?
That's a city.
The city? Okay, I did not know.
Now, are we talking as far as the landlord? Is it a burden? Is it just a phone call they have to make, or a letter they'd have to fill out, or a survey? I mean, what exactly would be the responsibility of the landlord for something like that?
I don't know how the landlords check the credit. I don't know how they get access. I know there's an application. Most places have like an application fee that they charge, like a $25 fee to check.
There's companies that do it.
Right, there's companies out there to do it. I'm just saying that if they use that as one of the criteria for renting you an apartment, then they should be responsible for reporting to your credit bureau that, yes, you indeed paid the rent.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
That would up your credit score, and then hopefully you'd be not a renter for long, you'd be a buyer.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Benefits you or hurt you, depending on how you paid the rent. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. Yep.
Thanks for the call.
I want to know what you thought on that. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Frank. Who we got on the line too here? You don't have a posted name yet. Oh, Deborah. Deborah, welcome to the program.
Hi. I'm impressed that he knows the difference between confident and competent.
That was good, wasn't it?
That's a tongue twister.
People that are smartest people that are running for, Supreme Court, they don't know the difference between imminent and eminent.
Thank you. I like those. Get a few more like that, Frank. I'm good.
Yeah. All right, 301-694-9363, 301-694 WFMD. What are you going to say, Anita?
I just wanted to maybe switch the areas of the city. There's much to been said about the Historic Preservation Commission, and we have 3 people who have resigned, and now we have Tim Westlake who's been appointed, and it's federal law and state law that governs the HPC. Do you think it's time maybe that the city pulled out from the federal and the state courts and you don't get the tax credits and all the other kind of stuff? Or if there are ways to maybe educate the members of the HPC and maybe make them a little more user-friendly within the law? How do you see the role of the HPC playing out in things like Bolton and some of the other things?
The best argument I heard is as this whole, it was started with the window and the Gulf Lake. What would have happened if the window was broken by a rock? I mean, obviously they're going to have to replace the window, but do they have to replace the lettering also? It seems like the HPC got personal. And then again, this is what I hear and what I read. I haven't been involved in any of the organizations, the meetings and stuff like that. I understand you want to keep Frederick the way it is, but can you improve your windows? Yes. Can you put some fresh paint on it? Okay, it was antique white or eggshell white, and now it's a little shade off. It's not going to deter. Now, I understand you're not going to put.
No, they don't regulate paint.
Okay, you're not going to put a great big
color. They can't do color.
A great big pink neon sign in the middle of downtown Frederick that wasn't there before. What happens when someplace like Bradley's moves out and something else moves in? Does it still have to be called Bradley's?
No, that's Blaine's line.
Right.
You know, but
let me tell you, you bring up a big pink sign. Well, you know, maybe if it's a business that the sign works for them. Problem I have is you can't do a big pink sign, but then like the Cuban place, which I don't want them to target, and I'm not advocating for you to regulate pink paint color, but they go out and paint the whole place yellow and orange. That's right on the corner.
Remember that.
So sometimes I think that, you know, the question should be, is it appropriate for what type of business it's being used in?
Yeah,
you know?
that makes sense.
But you know, the whole thing with the vote thing, and I don't know whether you agree with this or not, Chris, but I mean, it seemed to me, and I only know what I've read and what I've heard,
right,
is that one or two of the members said, well, gee, I used to go to the doctor's office there, and it should always have a professional building sign there. But you even had Dr. Broadrip send a letter saying, it's no big deal, because that wasn't there when it was originally a house, which to me, you want to preserve the architecture,
right?
Not the little changes that have occurred over the years.
So it's personal nostalgia. We
Let's
all
grab
want to
Chris real quick before we go to break. Chris, welcome to the program.
Hey, Blaine, I appreciate you taking my call. I came in like right in the last couple of minutes. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. But in regards to the gentleman who was talking about reporting rental payments on credit, it is looked at a little bit differently. Credit is pulled, reviewed, and assessed for so many different things: life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, everything. I mean, it in some cases is actually done for utility as well. And in that case, you'd have to find a way to report it all on credit. And really what credit is designed to do is just show how you've been paying back the obligations of a loan. And that's what it's designed to do, the credit report. So none of those other things get reported. I don't see why it wouldn't be helpful to consider that at some point in time in regards to rental payments. But at this point in time, there are so many things that credit is reviewed for, and they're just not reported.
All right, thanks for the call.
No problem.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. It is 4:30, talking with mayoral candidate Chris Simpson on 930 WFMD, the Blaine Young Show. You can